Hey guys, what's happening? So with getting back into Philip K. Johnson's Hulk series, as it would seem for some time now, we stepped away from the whole thing of Hulk being hunted by the different monsters from all over who've been called by the Eldest. But now we're starting to see some of that come back, and it is once again referencing some of the events that took place in Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk, and once again in a really substantial way. So with that said, I got a full playlist in the description for anyone who needs to get caught up, and if you're enjoying these videos, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications. Alright, so coming back, this picks up just after Hulk and Charlie had went their separate ways for a brief moment, because after Charlie asked the Hulk if they could head to New York, he had just basically grunted and walked off. And as we know, Charlie's really doing this to trick the Hulk, to taking her to see Doctor Strange so they can get his help, but she didn't share that information when she asked, though it doesn't really matter because Hulk wasn't feeling it. But this caused the two of them to go their own way for a little bit, where in Charlie's case we saw that she was being followed by a creature who we now know to be a rutling by the name of Norgal, which isn't way too important, but we'll talk more about his history in a little bit. But like we saw, around this time Charlie saw some kids close to her age playing basketball, and as we know, it's been a while since Charlie's hung around any kids even close to her age. And before all this started, the only friend that we knew she had was that kid Rusty. So as it would seem, before Charlie even started following the Hulk, she didn't really have much of any friends. So with her now seeing this as an opportunity to hang out with some kids and be a kid for a moment, Charlie used her recently acquired skinwalker ability to change into the skin of one of her recent victims while just casually hiding her own skin behind a dumpster, which quickly led to it being snatched up by the rutling Norgal, who just put on Charlie's skin and made his way over to the Hulk as if nothing changed. And I mean, really just talking to the Hulk like, oh hey, I'm back, good to see ya. So of course, Hulk starts asking the logical questions, starting with, the hell are you? Like, what am I even looking at? And for a while here, Norgal tries to keep up the charade, but Hulk immediately notices that this thing's wearing Charlie's skin. So Hulk goes off, because he doesn't know if this thing killed Charlie or what. But just for a bit of background on Norgal as far as what he is and where he came from, Norgal is part of a race of beings called the rutlings that came from a time before man, who used to live in nests and burrows under trees. And it was said that they were very peaceful creatures. The ancient trees would sing to them and the rutlings would draw wisdom from it. And after ages passed, man came from the west with weapons, tools, and technology like fire. And the rutlings paid man no mind at first, but over time their numbers grew and the trees got quieter. And eventually when the rutlings saw that men were cutting down trees and using them to make homes out of the corpses of those trees and burning them for heat, the rutlings became more hostile. They attacked man and tasted their flesh for the first time, which for the rutlings was much sweeter than the worms or grub of the earth that they were used to. So with them becoming hostile, man started retaliating, and over time there were rumors and stories of these man-eating devils that lived in the woods. And eventually men just started killing them off, leaving Norgal as the last of his kind. And for Norgal, who's about 200 years old, for a long time he had just been surviving and hoping to have one day found a friend. So long story long, that's most of the reason why this creature has just taken Charlie's skin and act like he was her to try and be the Hulk's friend. And he explains a version of this story to the Hulk that's a lot shorter. And he tells the Hulk, no, I didn't kill her. But he also lets the Hulk know that the old laws say if you find something, then it's yours. And that's basically Norgal's justification for keeping Charlie's skin, since she left it unguarded. But on top of that, because Charlie took on the god skin of Lycana is a part of Charlie's skin, which gives Norgal a portion of those abilities. So he just breaks free from the Hulk and tells him that I'm about to go find some other friends. And this takes us back over to Charlie, who's told these other kids that her name's Becky. And while they're here, this is one dude who's definitely not a kid. But this guy's got the ball and he's talking about how he's finna show her up and how he was the savior of the junior varsity team 20 years ago, only to have Charlie, or Becky, pick him with a clean steal and drop a Chef Curry on him from half court. And as soon as it goes in, they hear this crazy loud sound like something just dropped down not too far away. But they don't pay much attention to it at first. And instead, the grown dude who's out here hooping with little kids, he asks Charlie where she's from. So much like her name that she made up, she just lies and tells the guy Tennessee, and that she's just here because her and her brother are heading to New York. So the dude's like, that's strange, just you and your brother, no parents? So Charlie starts to fumble her words again to try and put together some sort of explanation, but then it's right here where they're met by the arrival of Norgal. And this is where Charlie realizes that her skin's been snatched. And you know, in a crazy way, this reminds me of back when I played AAU basketball and my team had a game in Augusta, Georgia. And man, back then somebody stole my Tommy Hilfiger jacket and my all black Jordan 13s. Man, I was sick. But yeah, this is when Charlie realizes that she's been got. And when she tries to go after Norgal, the guy they were playing with, he tells the other kids to hide behind the middle school as he calls the police and tells them what's going on and that he believes it's the missing girl from Kentucky, the girl from the news. And as we know, Charlie's from Kentucky and she's wanted in connection with her father's death, so this just isn't a good look. And when she goes after Norgal to get her skin back, it isn't until now when Charlie realizes that she doesn't have the power of Lycana at her disposal. And Norgal is basically like, yep, finders keepers. Finally, Norgal is strong, because he's basically treating her skin like it's his precious. But after hitting Charlie with this taunt, a huge shadow covers Norgal just before the Hulk arrives. And man, does he make an entrance. And you would think with the Hulk showing up like this that Norgal will have a better understanding on not just who he's dealing with, because Norgal knows of the Hulk. But better yet, I'd say that you'd think he'd have an understanding of how serious the Hulk is right now. And I say this because when the Hulk arrives, he tells Norgal, once again, to come up out that skin. At this point, Norgal has built up the nerve, and I guess the confidence, to not only reiterate the old law, that's basically finders keepers, but he also has the audacity to tell the Hulk, not only that he's going to remove a skin, but he's going to take the Hulk's. Which really this is just Norgal feeling himself a bit too much, because when he leaps towards the Hulk, Hulk just catches him, and he squeezes this guy out of Charlie's skin like toothpaste. And it's just kind of like, man, this dude should have came up out the skin the first time. But nonetheless, with doing this, it allows Charlie to get her skin back, which allows her to regain the power of the god skin Lycana. But while she's equipping her original skin, Norgal is trying to plead with her by telling her that they should have been friends and how he can hear the voice of the Eldest, which again was that call to all creatures to go after the Hulk. And he just goes on about how he knows things like the old laws and how he could be helpful. And since they're seeking the sorcerer, he can help. But Hulk is just like, leave this guy here, he's harmless, puny, like don't even bother. But before you know it, Charlie just eats this guy. And that's the end of Norgal, who up until now was the last of his people, the rutlings. And when Hulk sees this, he just takes off, which in a way feels like a moment where Hulk's feeling that guilt again because of his involvement with Charlie going from a normal kid to what she is now. Because in a way, Hulk feels responsible for what's happened. But nonetheless, after Charlie finishes her meal, she soon follows after Hulk, and later on that evening she confronts him, asking the Hulk why he's been acting more hulkier than usual. And the answer to that mainly goes back to the Hulk feeling responsible for what Charlie's become, as well as what we saw not too long ago with Barkolok saying that Charlie's gonna eventually end up in his hell. But in this exact moment, the thing that's bothering Hulk is the fact that Charlie just ate the puny rutling, because Hulk told her to leave him alone. The little guy was harmless, and Hulk probably would have preferred that she'd fed on some deer or something. But when he expresses his concern about Charlie eating that rutling, Charlie just comes clean about everything from the past couple issues. Cause she tells him, look, I know, I didn't mean to. It's been getting harder to control. Sometimes I wake up and stuff's happened overnight. Bad stuff. Dr. Strange still lives in New York, right? He was an Avenger too. You guys are probably buddies. Banner said Strange knows about this kind of stuff. I thought I might ask him, and right there Hulk's like, Banner said. Because again, Charlie was trying to trick the Hulk into taking her. So she tells him, I mean, yeah, but he didn't. Come on, Hulk. Banner and me aren't friends. Not like you and me. It's not like, and right there the Hulk just cuts her off saying, warned you about Banner. And then out of nowhere, the Hulk starts changing back. And when he does, the last thing Hulk tells Charlie, it really throws her off. Because it's also like the last thing she hears Hulk say before Banner comes back, physically. Because now Hulk's like, leave me alone. Banner's your friend. Banner wants to talk to Strange. Go with Banner and leave me alone. So again, with how suddenly this happens, it confuses Charlie and she doesn't really know who to respond to. And when Banner gets up, he's of course out of it after spending so much time in the Hulkscape. So at first he's not even sure if Charlie's just another one of those illusions, like what we saw back in issue 14. So going forward from here, the two of them make their way to try and find Doctor Strange. But the next thing we do here is head over to Crusher Creel, the Absorbing Man, later that night in Chicago, where now he's being approached by the Eldest. And keep in mind, the only reason why the Eldest wants the Hulk is because of his connection to the One Below All's green flame, which the Eldest wants to use to release the Mother of Horrors, which is the nightmarish endgame that we're trying to avoid in all of this. So at first when she calls his name, he's like, who's there? So she tells him, you know my voice well enough, lest you know not your own dreams. Which is really just her saying that prior to this, she's reached out to Crusher before. And right away he recognizes who he's talking to. Cause next he's like, you're her, the thing that's looking for Hulk. And that's where she tells him the brother of the fractured sun outweighs his value. The One Below All's green flame dwells in others also, and it will serve just as well. And as he's covered in this dark substance, immediately Crusher folds, and he tells her, I'll help you, I'll do whatever you want. as she says, "Yes, absorbing man, you will." And again, this just goes back to what we saw in Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk, when at the time Creel was given the Bannerman gene enhancement package. It was developed by S.H.I.E.L.D., improved by AIM, and perfected by the scientists at Shadowbase. And really, it was set up as a way to enhance Creel's abilities, so he could absorb all of the Hulk's radiation when they send him out into the field. And it had its effects at the time, like turning Crusher Creel red, and it proved to be successful for the most part. But the only thing that Shadowbase wasn't able to account for was the Hulk's connection to the One Below All, which Creel got a terrifying glimpse of when he absorbed most of the Hulk's gamma radiation and Creel's consciousness was taken to the below place. And at the time, even though he didn't see the One Below All directly, he was given a terrifying message that told him how he would always end up in the below place, which, come to think of it, is very similar to the message that Varkolok told Hulk about Charlie's fate. And this would be just the first of many events that would come soon after, that would saturate the absorbing man with gamma radiation, while giving him deep ties to the One Below All in the below place. And coming back to the present day, even with everything that's happened to bring Carl Creel back to normal, after the events of Immortal Hulk and Gamma Flight, with the Eldest coming for him here and now, this means that the connection is still there, and she believes that Crusher Creel's connection will serve just as well, which now puts a crazy twist on things, because the green door has been shut for quite some time. So now it's like the Eldest wants to use others to more or less pick the lock, so we gotta stay tuned to see how this goes. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.